these stop us? The good news is, the government does not stop at anything. This is why DPWH, DBM, DOF, NEDA, DOTr, and BCDA are all working together for the first time in history. 6 agencies committed to deliver the boldest and most ambitious infrastructure development ever. 6 agencies ushering in the golden age of infrastructure, which we call Build, Build, Build. This is the vision that will help us achieve our goals. And today, we put this vision into action. With the NLX SLX connector, you can go from Alabang to Balintawak in only 30 minutes. No need to pass through EDSA anymore, so you can use your time for more important things. NLX will also get an all-elevated expressway in Harbor Link, providing a 10-minute access from Mindanao Avenue to Commonwealth Avenue. We are also building a tide embankment project in Leyte, Visayas, which will protect communities in coastal areas against destructive storm surges. No successful country is without an efficient public transport system. So we are extending our trains with PNR North that goes to Clark, and PNR South, which will connect Manila to Los Baños. Explore Davao, Surigao, and Cagayan de Oro without the hassle via the Mindanao Railway. The upcoming Mega Manila subway will also help decongest the roads. For Phase 1, we are connecting Quezon City and Taguig, with more still coming down the road. With the BGC to NAIA Bus Rapid Transit System, you can go from Fort Bonifacio to NAIA in only 20 minutes. We are also expanding the Clark International Airport with new first-class facilities. And the smartest and greenest city in the Philippines is also rising in Clark, which we call the New Clark City, a world-class urban development that will solve Metro Manila's congestion problems. These are but a few of the projects that will blaze a new trail for us, with more coming in the next months and few years. Build for progress, because change only starts through action. Build for tomorrow, because our children deserve a better Philippines. Build with us, and be a guardian of transparency through the Build, Build, Build portal. Visit www.build.gov.ph and stay in the know about all of our game-changing projects. Together, let us build the Philippines.
Good afternoon, media friends. Our press briefing will start in a minute. So may we request those who are outside, the media friends who are outside, to please come inside so we could start. Okay, so good afternoon, media friends, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the press briefing of the Build, Build, Build Infrastructure Plan in time for the ASEAN 30th Leaders Summit. Okay, so we have, for this afternoon, we have 3 resource speakers. The one of the 6 prime movers, 3 of the 6 prime movers of the Build, Build, Build Infra Plan. The first one is DPWH Secretary Villar. He represented the Lone District of Las Piñas for 2 terms in Congress, where he authored a total of 109 bills and 44 resolutions. He also served as chairman of the Committee on Trade and Industry and vice chair of the Committees on Overseas Workers Affairs and on Science and Technology. He earned his bachelor's degree in political science, philosophy, and economics from the University of Pennsylvania, and his MBA from the University of Chicago. Let's welcome Secretary Mark Villar.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, and then our second Build Infra Plan prime mover is the Secretary of Transportation, a self-made millionaire. He founded the Paris Group of Companies and later served as president and CEO of Clark Development Corporation. He was a scholar of San Beda College since elementary, where he earned his bachelor's degree in liberal arts, magna cum laude, and his law degree, cum laude, and by the end of his term at the department, he hopes to leave a 30-year roadmap to address traffic congestion and create a consolidated nationwide transportation system. Media friends, let's welcome Department of Transportation Secretary Arthur Tugade.
Good afternoon.
And our third resource speaker is the President and CEO of the Basis Conversion Development Authority, as well as acting chairman of the Clark Development Corporation. He was an assistant professor of economics at the De La Salle University. He earned his Bachelor of Arts degree in economics and Bachelor of Commerce degree, major in management of financial institution from De La Salle University. As a Chevening scholar, he obtained his Master of Science degree in Applied Development Studies from the University of Reading in the United Kingdom. Media friends, let's welcome BCDA President and CEO, Mr. Vince Dizon.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We have now the opening statements from our guests for today's press briefing. May we start with Secretary Mark Villar, please.
Yes, we're very happy to have this opportunity to share with everyone the infrastructure plans of the Duterte administration, which we've said is the most ambitious in the history of our country. That's why we want to share with the world the story of the economic upliftment of the Philippines, and we are here united. The cabinet is here to present this to the world. So thank you very much, and it's an honor for me to be able to speak in front of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Sec Villar. May we have now an opening statement of Secretary Arthur Tugade.
Yeah, good afternoon. The theme of the ASEAN is partnering with change and engaging the world. Within the context of this theme, the 3 gentlemen here, including me, are here to be able to explain to you and show to you the various infrastructure projects which are presently ongoing, about to be completed, and about to be launched. These infrastructures will set as a major platform in the countries or in the Philippines' pursuit or giving life to the ASEAN theme of partnering with change and engaging the world. Because how is it that you will partner with change and engage with the world if there are no given firm and concrete infrastructures? This is the trust of the Duterte government. This is the trust of the country, because we would like to partner with change and to show that we are ready to engage the world.
Thank you, thank you, Secretary Tugade. And the opening statement from the BCDA President, Vince Dizon.
Good afternoon, everyone. Just to build on what Secretary Tugade and Secretary Villar said, I think one important message of the Duterte administration to the rest of ASEAN and the entire world is that the Philippines is a friend to all. No? We know we have our traditional allies, but I think in a world where that is smaller, that grows smaller and smaller by the day, by the year, I think the policy and the principle of the president that we are friends to all is very appropriate at this point in world history. And I think us chairing the ASEAN is a perfect showcase of this, that now that we are slowly joining the ranks of the developed world, I think it's about time that we open ourselves up to new friendships, and I think this will be of mutual benefit to everyone, not just in ASEAN, but in the entire world. So we hope that the projects that we will be showing you today will foster a spirit of friendship, of cooperation with our partners throughout ASEAN and the rest of the world. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So the floor is now ready for the questions from our media friends. You may stand up and use the microphone. Please state your name and the news agency that you represent. So, okay, so I'm sorry. So before our panelists would welcome the questions, there would be a short AVP about the Build Infra plan.
Yeah.
So let's watch this.
Yeah, I think maybe we can dispense with the video, because I think that's been seen already, just to save on time. No? And we can maybe go to just a rundown of the projects per agency, if that's okay with our friends in the media.
Okay, so we would just have a rundown of the project. So anyone who would want to have a copy of the AVP, you could just approach the staff on the front desk to copy the AVP to your thumb drive. Okay, so first question from the media.
Yeah, from maybe just a rundown from DPWH probably of the projects just quickly. I think we're already there.
Okay, so we have the AVP first. Okay, so let's watch this.
Yeah.
Yes. This is a slideshow that I hope very briefly we'll just go through this slideshow. It's just the highlights, some of our highlights, just a taste, because obviously we don't have the time to present all of them, but we just want to give everyone a taste of what some of the highlights of our infrastructure program and what some accomplishments are. Just to give you an idea, this year the DPWH will be spending 450 billion pesos. That's about $9 billion in infrastructure projects. This is by far the highest infrastructure budget in the history of our department. At the same time, just to give you an idea of how drastic a change this is, if you were to combine the infrastructure, the DPWH budget from the years 2010 to 2013, what we're spending this year would still be bigger than those years combined. So it's by far the largest and most ambitious program that we've ever executed. So just to start, so here's some of the highlights. We have here when this project was started just December of 2016. It is a symbol of what can be done if there is a partnership between the private and public sector. This was done at no cost to government. It was completed, the bridgeway was completed in a very short period of time from December, finished in April in time for the Asian Summit. It is a 1.5 billion peso project connecting the airport to Newport City across the street. This is something that we feel, especially given the congestion of the airport in this area, would be a big help to many of our commuters using NAIA 3. So that's the runway Manila, and it's completed, and it's being used as we speak. The next would be, again, near the, you can also see the NAIA Expressway, which is also completed just in time for the Asian Summit, as promised by this administration. Again, another show of how we can work with the private sector, and how, because of the President's dedication and the President's orders to work 24/7, we can finish these projects at a very fast pace. So this is a project that we're enjoying now, the NAIA Expressway, and we will continue to expand to further the service, to improve service to our to other Filipinos. One of the more ambitious projects of the of the DPWH is a consolidation of about 18 major highway projects, expressway projects, that will connect the northern part of Luzon to the southern part. This is something that we call the Luzon Spine Expressway Network. And it's by far one of the most ambitious programs that the DPWH has ever engaged in. And we fully intend to finish it by the end of the term of this president. Basically, it will connect La Union to Bicol, which is the southernmost province in Luzon. The travel time now to get from Bicol to Manila is 12 hours. We hope to get, by the time that this project is done, you can get from Bicol to La Union, which is the northernmost part, as you can see there, northernmost part of the Philippines, in less than 12 hours. So we feel that this is in line with the President's objective, which is to bring development to every corner of our country. So this is something that we are currently, some of these projects are ongoing, some of these projects will be started within the year, but definitely we are committed to finish this before the end of the term of our President. So these are some of the projects that are included. These are, like I said, there were 18 major projects that are part of this SPY network. One of them is TPLX, that we intend on finishing by next year. Once it's finished, it'll allow you to go to Baguio in less than 3 hours once it hits the final Rosario exit, and we'll continue on to La Union after that. The connector road, which is awarded under the term of this president, when this is finished, you can get from Alabang to NLEX in 30 minutes, to be finished by 2021. A Harbor Link project, which will be finished by the end of this year. When this is finished by the end of this year, trucks coming from the port will no longer have to pass through C5 and EDSA. We're expecting 40,000 vehicles a day to pass through the Harbor Link, significantly decongesting Metro Manila. So we've already done preparation, we've inspected, construction is at an advanced stage, and we target to finish by this year. The CALAX, we've already started we've already actively engaged in the right-of-way. When it'll be finished, it'll create a new growth corridor. It'll connect Cavitex to Mamplasan in the South Luzon Expressway. So it'll create a whole new growth corridor in Cavite. The SILEX is it's already been started. It'll connect Cabanatuan to Tarlac. This is also a major component of the SPINE network. And eventually, it'll also bring progress to Nueva Ecija, as it'll be part of the North Luzon, the expressway, East Expressway. Also part of our decongestion for Metro Manila, we've conceptualized and we will begin executing this year 12 new bridges across the Pasig River. Already, we start this year, we already start on 3. By next year, we can start on the rest. And this will significantly decongest the traffic buildup, especially along Guadalupe and C5. So this is already being started this year and next. And we will finish this by 2020 to 21. The Bacolod Economic Highway, we have major projects in all regions of the country. This includes more than 200 bypass roads, new highways. This one is one of our major projects. It's the first of its kind, a highway that incorporates pedestrian traffic. So it's, aside from being 4 lanes, it also incorporates a bike lane. And again, those from Bacolod, you know the congestion now even with their bypass road at this point. This is a whole new alignment that will bring even more development into that area. We're familiar also, we're investing heavily in disaster resiliency, and one of the major projects that we have is the Leyte Tide Embankment to prevent any occurrence again of what happened in Yolanda. This is a major project of DPWH. It stretches 21 kilometers, and it was already started, and we're also completing it before the end of the term of the president. The traffic in Cebu is also a major issue. We've already done a feasibility study for this. We're already surveying the alignment of the Metro Cebu Expressway. This will provide the long-term solution to the congestion in Cebu, giving us a major bypass, a major expressway that will allow the traffic to move from, not have to go through the Metro Cebu, and thereby decongesting it significantly. So hope to start this by next year. One of our major big projects in connecting Misamis Occidental to Lanao del Norte, the Pangil Bay Bridge. This is also a major bridge project, among others that will be, among others that are part of the bridge program that the President wants to become one of the major proponents of our infrastructure program. So this will also be started in 2018. And of course, the Mindanao Development Road Network. This is a very ambitious master plan program designed to bring, to expand the Mindanao Road Network to all areas, even the areas where there are security issues. And we hope this will help to bring, improve the movement of goods and services throughout Mindanao. And this is the most ambitious project of its kind. It's a master plan. We will finish this by the end of the term of our president. And we're already investing heavily. It's more than 80 billion pesos. Of course, the Davao City Bypass being the most, one of the centers of commerce in Mindanao. It's becoming very congested. So this is a project that was planned with international help, and it is already scheduled to be started. It's already funded, and we'll be starting soon. So thank you. And again, these are just a taste of the projects of the DPWH as part of the golden age of infrastructure. And at this point, I'd like to turn it over to the Department of Transportation.
Thank you, Secretary Mark. You know, earlier I mentioned that we are launching infrastructure projects precisely to address and put life to the theme of the ASEAN, which is partnering with change and engaging the world. We are of the belief, and it is so, that with infrastructure, we can partner with change, and in partnering with change, we'll be ready to engage with the world. Why is this so? It's because if you have the infrastructure as we have planned it to be, as we expected to complete it to be done and accomplished, it will not only help in addressing traffic situation in Metro Manila and all over, because traffic is costing us billions of pesos, but more importantly, it will help reduce the cost of doing business in the Philippines. Having said this, let me walk you through with certain projects which precisely addresses the issue of decongesting traffic and achieving reducing the cost of doing business in the Philippines. Let's go to the airport. Airport in Puerto Princesa, which is a gateway in tourism activities in the Philippines, will be completed and inaugurated on May 3. Okay. This project has been pending and started many years back, but because of the pushing and the aggressiveness of the Duterte administration, this airport will be inaugurated on May 3. This is a project which runs in the cost of 4 billion pesos on an ODA platform. In addition to Puerto Princesa, there are other airports which we are pushing for completion. You have the new Bohol Panglao Airport. This is designed to accommodate 1.9 million, 2 million passengers annually. This is hoped to be completed by the year 2018 with a project cost of 5 billion ODA platform. In addition to Puerto Princesa and Panglao, right now in the mills and in the verge of being completed is the Mactan Cebu International Airport together with its extension. It is hoped that the new Cebu International Airport, Mactan Cebu International Airport, will be fully completed and operational by June 2018 at the cost of 14 billion. Flash on the screen, you can see the details being done. But as we do this in the Visayas and Mindanao, not to be forgotten is also the southern part. We will now push and aggressively push for the completion of the Bicol International Airport. Hopefully this will help decongest the crowded Legazpi Airport and will boost tourism arrivals in this part of the country. This is ongoing. It is hoped to be completed by June 2018 with a cost of 5 billion GAA, meaning government expense. The overall approach on airport, we now have 40 commercially operating airport, the target is to make it all night rated, meaning they are able to operate a nighttime sunset. When we assume there were, I think, 9 night-rated airports. Now, at this moment, we have added 4 night-rated airports. Hopefully, in the next 2 years, we will add 8 more. But at the end of the term of the President, we hope that all the commercially operational airport will be night-rated. You can just imagine the connectivity it will give between the provinces in the country, and you can just imagine the effect it will do insofar as reducing the cost of doing business in the Philippines. And as we improve the airport, as we try to develop the operating capabilities of the airport by making it night-rated, we want to make the Philippine skies open. We want to make Philippine aviation safe. And that is why we will be completing, before the end of this year, the Communication, Navigation, Surveillance, Air Traffic Management System, CNS and ATM. When we assume there were barely 5 radars operating, as of this moment we have completed 13 radars, which are interoperable, and which operations and detailed operations will be housed in a building at Kaap. All this will be fully operational. The entry of airports, the schedule of flights, the identification of aircraft will be fastidious and easy, thus guaranteeing the safety of the Philippine sky to flying objects. And so as you can see what we'll be doing with air, we'll be doing certain projects related to rails, the railroad system. We are doing the PNR North Railway, more popularly known as the Manila-Clark destination. From Tutuban to Clark, we hope to have a fast track, 110 kilometers per hour to 130 kilometers per hour. Hopefully, this will be awarded first quarter of next year. Hopefully, it will accommodate 350,000 ridership per day on the opening year. You can just imagine the connectivity that it will establish between Manila and Clark. What is the importance of this? Earlier, I told you about mobility and connectivity. This, what we are doing insofar as North is concerned, highlights the need for connectivity and mobility. Why is this so? You will connect Manila with Clark by train, where in Clark you will find a world-class airport. 20 minutes from Clark you will find a seaport. Connecting all this is the SETEX, world-class road structure. Having said this, then you have really started a platform of connectivity which spells to what we call a logistics hub, which is a fundamental in making an economic zone prosperous and developmental. The Alabang, the Luzon-Manila-Clark connection will certainly augur well for the improvement of the economic growth of the country. And as we develop the North, we will also be developing the South. Nandiyan yung Bicol Express. First phase of the South Railway, of the Bicol Express, is from Tutuban to Los Baños to Calamba and then move forward to the south. And so you can see there will be an interoperability of railway connection between the North and the South. And as we develop the North and the South, Mindanao will not be forgotten and forsaken, because on the plans is the creation of the Mindanao Railway Express. It has been said and it has been propounded that all projects initiated and started during the Duterte administration must be completed within the term of the President. The Mindanao Railway consists of around 2,000 kilometers. Then you will say, how can it be completed in 5 years. No, it will not. The full 2,000 kilometers will not be completed in 5 years. But the first phase, which covers Digos, Davao, and Cagayan de Oro, hopefully will be completed in the term of President Duterte. Hopefully this can accommodate 120,000 passengers ridership per day on the opening year. Maybe you will say at this time, but these are all plans. Yes, they are all plans. But please, we cannot finish this plan if you will just put doubts and misgivings on the plans. We ask that you give us the confidence and the trust and accompany us in formulating these plans so that hopefully at the end of the day, we can say these plans can materialize. If Secretary Mark has an ambitious project in bridges, transportation, the Department of Transportation also has an ambitious project. We call it, for the moment, the Benga Manila subway. This will be the first subway in the country, which will travel from Taguig, Quezon City, and Taguig. And it will have a ridership of 370,000 passengers per day on the opening year. Hopefully, the final contract that will trigger the start of this project will be signed this November, when the leaders of the ASEAN will come, and hopefully it will be Minister Abe and our own President Duterte who will ink and sign the formal agreement. Of course, we have the MRT line, Line 7. We intend to finish this by 2020. This will be a 23-kilometer mass transit span that will connect Quezon City to San Jose, Del Monte, Bulacan, and that can accommodate 430 passengers daily on the start of operation. We will also be completing Line 1 of LRT 1, and then we will start the expansion of LRT 2. Then you can see that given all these plans and ongoing projects, we can see a full-blown railway system in the Philippines. And you know what? The present railway system in the Philippines, I understand, is only 67 kilometers, thereabout. Our ambition is to have no less than 1,500 kilometers on railway system. What will be the icing on the cake on this railway system? Naturally, it will be the common station. What is important about the common station is the stakeholders who used to fight it out and slug it out, even leading to cases in the Supreme Court, have agreed to cap it bisig and come up with an agreement that once and for all agree to a common station. This common station will be started hopefully by December of this year, and it will be completed by 2019, 2 years completion. Once this is done, the ridership of 500,000 per day at the start of operation will enjoy this common station. Complementing the common stations will be the terminals, where we'll have interoperable facility for buses and rails. We hope to be able to do 2 terminals immediately within this year. We'll have the Southwest Integrated Transport System, which will be completed by next year. And we'll also have a terminal, the South ITS, which will be completed on 2019. If you have all these roads and you have all these terminals, you have the common station, you have the rails, then you can see that we are addressing the issue of traffic by putting these structures that will be moving away certain the physical passengers on the highway and putting them on other modalities and modes of transport. And one of which is the EDSA Central Corridor BRT. Hopefully we can start this by 2019 and finish it by 2021, much ahead the end of the term of President Duterte, at a cost of 38 billion on an ODA platform. The Cavite Gateway Terminal, what is this? This is the first barge terminal we are putting up. We have inaugurated this last week, and completion is by next year. First quarter of next year, it will be operable. What does this mean? It means 140,000 TEUs per year will be taken out of the road, traveling the road to the ports. They will be traveling on water. On water, and it will be connected with the economic zones in Cavite and Laguna. Hopefully they can go to Batangas, and soon it will be able to go to other ports. There will be a lot of modernization program in the ports. We'll have being done now are Iloilo, Cagayan de Oro, General Santos, Calapan, Dapitan, Legazpi, Macar, all ports. Why is the development of ports very necessary? No-brainer. The Philippines is an archipelago. And one of the better way of connecting the islands and the provinces in this archipelago is by connecting them seaport. And therefore, there will be massive construction of ports, as there will be aggressive efforts to supply shipping and transporting facilities called initially RORO, roll on, roll off. By doing this, we provide mobility not only of people, we provide connectivity among provinces, but more importantly, by doing this, we'll be able to reduce the cost of food and goods sold, and we'll be also reducing the cost of doing business in the Philippines. I turn you over to Mr. Dizon.
Good afternoon.
BCDA.
Thank you very much, Secretary Tugade. Secretary Villar, this won't take too long. No, BCDA has unlike DPWH and DOTr, which have massive projects for our people throughout the country, BCDA has a few projects mostly centered in the properties under our purview. So allow me to just go through them, and maybe we can go to the question and answer already. First is the Clark International Airport. Before I go into the details of this, I think it's important to understand that unlike in the past, where projects of government have been quite independent of each other, meaning in Filipino, we like to say pachi-pache, no? Yung project dito, project doon, pero they do not interrelate and they do not interconnect. The Duterte administration, under the leadership of our president, has made it a point that all projects are interrelated and interconnected, as they should be. As you've seen it in the past, sometimes there are bridges, but they lead to nowhere. Sometimes there are airports without roads leading to them. So that will not happen under the build, build, build program of the Duterte administration because of one word, and that word is unity. No, the entire government is working together to make sure that these projects all work together in order to maximize the benefits for our people. One of them is Clark International Airport, and this is really, we are very excited about this, and I think the entire country, especially those living in central northern Luzon, Metro Manila are very excited about this because it will truly be a world-class airport facility which will commence construction in the fourth quarter of this year. And hopefully the new terminal building will be ready for use by our people at the earliest by the fourth quarter of 2019, latest the first quarter of 2020, somewhere in the midway part of the Duterte administration. And I just wanted to show you the master plan of this new airport. We will be initially building a new terminal with a yearly capacity of 8 million passengers per year. And this will primarily be for the people living in northern and central Luzon and up to the north part of Metro Manila. No? And this is also meant to decongest the airport in Metro Manila. As Secretary Tugade pointed it out, this is part of the overall strategy. So, meaning all these projects that we have presented to you, they all relate to one goal. And that goal is to make the lives of our people more comfortable by providing them an interconnected way of moving around the country and traveling abroad. No? So this is the plan for Clark. Again, target commencement of construction is fourth quarter of this year, completion fourth quarter of 2019. Now we can move to another project of BCDA, which is the connection of BGC in the fort to NAIA. And you might be asking, how does this relate to the BRT, Metro Manila BRT plan? Well, like I said earlier, and as emphasized by Secretary Tugade, all these projects are connected. Hindi sila independent of each other. So the BGC to NAIA project connects to the overall BRT plan under the DOTr, including the Central EDSA Corridor BRT. No? It is not independent. Hindi siya hiwalay, no, dun sa Metro Manila BRT plan. And so you might ask, bakit BCDA? Ang rason dyan is yung dadaanan, no, the roads that will be traversed by this BRT are BCDA, is within BCDA property. And I want to just show you the plan. No? So the plan is three-pronged. No? The first is the BRT in BGC provides an interconnectivity around BGC. For those of you who have been to BGC or maybe who work there or live there, you know that one major problem in BGC is not only traffic, but it is also movement, mobility. It's very hard to commute. In fact, there's practically very limited options to go around BGC, no? Especially during the rainy season when it's very difficult to just walk around. No? So this is the plan. There are several stations all over BGC. The goal there is wherever you get off or get on, you will only walk for a maximum of 5 minutes to your destination, either to your place of work or to a restaurant or a mall, or maximum 5 minutes ang walking time, no, sa mga stasyon na yan. No? So it has been designed together with our partners in the private sector, the Fort Bonifacio Development Corporation, the Ayala, and the Campos group of companies, and also companies such as Mega World. No? So the next part is along the new development area in Fort Bonifacio, which is along Loton Avenue. So you will see it there. No? It passes McKinley West, McKinley Hill, and all the way down to the new development areas in South Bonifacio. But the most exciting part, actually, of this project is the third phase, which is the connection to NAIA. The exciting part about this is that all of that, from South Bonifacio all the way to NAIA and then to the LRT-1 extension that goes all the way to Cavite, this is all underground. Tunneling po ito, no? Underground tunnel. Kaya po, pag ginagawa po ito, when this is being constructed, there will be very minimal disruption above ground. In other words, hindi po tayo masyadong mata-traffic sa mga kalyeng dadaanan yan. Dahil alam niyo naman po, the roads leading to the airport are areas where there is a lot of traffic because of the number of vehicles that go to the airport. So this is all underground, connecting Pasong Tamo Extension, NAIA Terminal 3, NAIA Terminal 2, NAIA Terminal 1, and all the way to LRT 1 Extension. Again, as a proof that all of these projects connect to each other. Secretary Tugade talked about LRT 1 Extension. The BRT project connects all the way to LRT 1 to provide interconnectivity. Okay, next. So the other project is now with respect to Clark, no, and Subic. So Secretary Tugade, when he was he was the president of CDC, the Clark Development Corporation, envisioned a cargo connectivity by rail between Subic Port and Clark Airport. No, because as Secretary Tugade correctly pointed out, one of the major causes of congestion is the congestion of our ports and the amount of truck activity in our roads. So this will help solve that. The next one is an important project that we have, which is the Clark Green City, or now called New Clark City, and it's a mega development meant to develop a new city outside of Metro Manila in order to number one, try to address the congestion in Metro Manila, but number two, to provide a new city that is really world-class, that is smart, that is green. And we already have a master plan ready, and we are already, construction is already ongoing, like these roads that you see here in the pictures. Anyway, so we don't need, and that is how it is envisioned to look in the future. So I think with that, we can now proceed. Oh, sorry. And we are asking everyone to go to www.build.gov.ph. This is a portal. This is, I think, the first ever government portal where it has listed down and put in detail all the government projects, the big-ticket government projects for the public to access and to get more information on. And of course, our friends in the media are more than welcome. Please visit www.build.gov.ph. Maraming salamat po. Thank you.
Thank you for your updates, our guest for today. We'll now be ready to accept questions from our media friends. So, please use the microphone, state your name and the news agency that you represent.
Hi, good afternoon, sir. I'm Irma Isip of Malaya Business Insight. I have a question for Mr. Dizon. The last time you spoke, you said there is no funding or proponent yet for the BRT. What's the status of the project now, and the funding and the timeline for completion?
For the BGC to NAIA?
Yes, sir.
BGC to NAIA?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the BGC to NAIA BRT is presently undergoing feasibility study. Now, so BCDA is doing the feasibility study itself. We are targeted to complete the feasibility study by June of this year, so a month from now, a little over a month from now, after which it will now follow the process of submission to the National Economic Development Authority and the NEDA ICC and NEDA board. After which it will be decided on what mode of financing will be used for this project. Will it be ODA, meaning Official Development Assistance, soft loans from other countries, or our own funding, either funding by the national government through the General Appropriations Act, or through other modes of financing. So, but the target timeline for this is we finish all the processes by the third quarter so that we can open this up for public bidding by the end of the third quarter, and we can start construction by the end of this year. So end of 2017. And we estimate that we can full construction, no, of the BGC to NAIA can be done in 2.5 to 3 years. So we will have this fully completed and operational by the latest by 2020.
Okay, so our next question, please. Chris of Philippine News Agency.
Secretary Tugade. Sir, clarify lang po yung 1,500 kilometers railway system. Metro Manila lang siya. And yung 67 kilometers po.
Yung 67, Metro Manila lang. Yung total ho ng mahigit na 1,000 will be the combination of the rails you are putting in Metro Manila. Sinasama mo yung Clark, isasama mo yung sa Mindanao Express, isasama mo yung sa Bicol, isasama mo yung Tutuban papuntang Los Baños and Calamba.
And to other officials po, ano po yung mga projects na ang mga participants po natin are from ASEAN countries, and malaki po ba yung interest ng mga ASEAN countries sa investment sa infrastructure natin? Thank you.
Speaking for the DPWH, there's we've had a long-standing relationship with countries, and we hope to improve that even further. A lot of these, our most ambitious projects, will require transfer of technology, capacity building, and this is, I think, consistent with the theme of this Asian, which is engaging the world, and that's what we'll do to complete these projects. Some of our bridge programs will require technologies from other Asian countries, such as China and Japan and Korea. Our flood control measures will also be coming. Technologies for flood control are also coming from other countries in Asia. So I think that this infrastructure program, even highways, all of these things are a symbol of the engagement with the Asian, and a symbol of how we can use Asia to benefit for the mutual benefit of all the member nations.
On the part of the Department of Transportation, since the question asked about ASEAN, 10 bansa ho yan eh. Let me touch on 2 particular countries at this time. One is Indonesia. This Sunday we'll be inaugurating the first maritime RoRo operation between Indonesia and Davao, the Bitong-Davao line. Because we have started this, I have initiated, or rather we have initial talks with the Malaysian Minister for Transportation to replicate the same from Palawan to a point in Malaysia, perhaps Sabah and whatever. But we will be starting conversations on this. On a specific project related to Malaysia, they have indicated desire to do an MRT project from UP to Quiapo, but this is being studied right now. What does it tell you? It tells you that our ASEAN neighbors are really very keen and interested in the developments that are ongoing within the country. On top of this, needless to say, that our 2 major trading partners, which is China and Japan, are aggressively pushing for participation not only in rails and roads but also on airports. So makikita ninyo na internationally, madaming interested dito. Hindi lang kapwa Pilipino, hindi lang ASEAN, international pa. Without meaning to unnecessarily disclose anything, tonight I will be meeting with a Russian group of Russian businessmen together with the Vice Minister of Russia. I'll be having a meeting tonight, purely exploratory. But it shows that there is a very keen and aggressive interest to do business with the Philippines and the Filipino people.
On the part of BCDA, to answer your question, there is tremendous interest, especially in the development of, in city development, no? Specifically the New Clark City. Particularly, no, there is a lot of interest coming from Malaysia and Singapore. No? Because, you know, these two countries, I think, in the ASEAN are leading not only ASEAN, but the world in the development of new cities. No? And we all know the success of Singapore, but even Malaysia has successfully developed cities such as Putrajaya, where it practically moved its entire government, no, from Kuala Lumpur to Putrajaya. And I think we are very excited about this because I think we can learn a lot from our ASEAN partners, our ASEAN neighbors, in terms of how to really develop and plan new cities. Because obviously, I think this is something that we can learn a lot from, no, and avoid the mistakes we have done in the past, and avoid situations like the ones we have here now in Metro Manila. So we're very excited about working with our ASEAN partners in this development of new cities.
Okay, so our next question from Beverly.
Hi, sir. Sir, among the projects you mentioned that that our ASEAN neighbors are taking interest in, any indication as to what form of investments are they trying to put in? Will it be in loans, or will they be building it, or are we building it through some other kinds of arrangement?
The investments will come in several modes and modalities. It can come into government-funded GAA. It will come by way of grant, the two bridges coming in as grant. It will come by way of concessional loans and concessional arrangement. It will be a combination also. It can also be a combination of all these three. Varied, it will not be a one music, one dance affair. Yeah.
Sir, you mentioned the Palawan connection to Malaysia that will probably mirror what Bitong to Davao connection will be. Sir, is this under the funding under BIMP-IAGA, or this private
This is a private relationship which is being monitored and orchestrated by the two departments and ministries of transportation. The Davao, the Bitong route will already be in place. In fact, it will be inaugurated this Sunday. The Malaysia, Palawan is being discussed right now. When the details are firmed up and arrangement on a mutually advantageous and mutually beneficial arrangement are firm, then we can make the appropriate announcement. That is being discussed right now.
We have another question. Please state your name and news outfit.
Hi, Sir Secretary Tugade, GP Bencito, Manila Standard. Sir, we've been discussing about these projects, but how are we assuring the public that this will be finished without any taint of corruption?
Very good question. Number one, meron tayong presidente who will not tolerate any attempt for corruption or any corruption. Pag corrupt ka, patay ka or lagot ka. When I say patay, huwag niyong ma-misinterpret yan. Hindi patay physically yan. Liniliwanag ko lang yan. Pag corrupt ka, lagot ka. You know? Because we have a president, no nonsense yan. Ayaw niyo ng corruption. And he has shown this in many forms in the past. Pati nga matataas na sekretaryo, inalis niya. Number two, there is a portal. Portal for FOI, Freedom of Information Portal, built. Nandiyan dyan yung mga detalye ng mga kontrata which you can monitor. What are the projects available? What are the projects awarded? What is the progress of the project? And you can do this, you can make it, you can really follow it up. Number three, there is transparency in the projects. In fact, we will be using not only reducing processes, but we will also be partnering with technology to monitor projects. Yung drone ba? Para makikita mo talaga kung saan pumupunta yung proyekto. Number 4, the militancy of the public. Please continue giving us information if you see badges of corruption, and we would appreciate it that when you see badges of corruption, samaran na rin ho ng konting prueba para magtulungan tayong i-address ito. The issue of addressing corruption is not only limited to government. Limiting corruption applies to all. If we are to control corruption as fast as we would like it to be controlled, and as deep as we would like it to be controlled, all of us must do our share. Having said that, simple lang ho yan. Kung ayaw nyo kaming maging corrupt, pwede ba wag nyo kaming korapin? Yun lang ho yun.
I'd like to add to that, no? And I'd just like to shortly just say that I think the difference between the Duterte administration and what sets it apart is, especially the president, no, is that he walks the talk. No? Secretary Tugade, in fact, emphasized this the other day. No? Past leaders, past governments talk. But I think the difference with the president and with the leaders is that we walk the talk. And I think the portal that Secretary Tugade just mentioned earlier is one clear manifestation of this government walking the talk. Remember, FOI has been, talked about for so many years. But I think it was only the president that during the first month, I think, through the efforts of Secretary Martin Andanar and the PCO, that we passed and the president signed the executive order on FOI. That's unprecedented. No? FOI na binbin niya ng ilang taon. No? It was never passed in Congress, and it still has not yet been passed. No? But the president said, no, in the executive, we will walk the talk, and we will ensure transparency and freedom of information. And I think the portal in Build, it's the first of its kind. It has never been done before, where the government is announcing and highlighting all of the projects and showing timelines, showing all the details, even attaching all the documents pertinent to each of these projects. All the documents, the letters being sent by groups that have expressed interest. Later on, bid documents, etc., are all there for the public to look at, for the media to scrutinize. Because really, if you have nothing to hide, then there should be nothing to hide. No? And by the way, I'd just like to also tell you that we will also, and we have started today, no? For those of you who have access to the BCDA Facebook page, we have a ongoing live public bidding right now. It's ongoing. No? And we have committed that the projects that will be bidded out will also be shown live using Facebook Live, no? So that they are all open for the public to see. No? And I think that is walking the talk. No? So, yun lang po.
Yes, and finally, just to add also with this, currently, like in support of what Sec Art said, is using, in order to institutionalize the anti-corruption campaign, we're using the latest technologies, including what you mentioned earlier was drone, geotagging. At the same time, our latest software for our procurement process utilizes the latest in analytics in order to track any potential corruption early on, so we can address it as soon as possible time. Again, and I think, especially in this day and age, with this new transparency and with the new technologies that we have, we can take away the discretion and minimize, if not eliminate, corruption in our processes.
Sir, sensya na po for the follow-up. But on corruption, sir, Senator Grace is calling for an investigation po sana of the Chinese-made trains that are still unusable. Sir, she wants to call up Secretary Jun Abaya to be subpoenaed. What do you think about this development, sir? Should your predecessor explain about this mess in the LRT?
Right now, if you will follow the news, there have been intimations that investigations are being done right now. In fact, I have instructed that before any of the Dalian trains are actually put in motion or in use, I'm asking my management group headed by Cesar Chavez to get a certification from a third-party international that those trains are safe. Okay? Kung madedelay yung proyekto, ang sinabi ko ho, mas mabuti nang murahin ako ng mga tao na nakaupo at nakatayo kaysa tatahimik ang tao kasi nasa hospital sila o nasa sementeryo. So I would like a certification that these Dalian trains, before they are operable, are certified by a third-party institution to be safe for the riding public.
Opo. Pero yung 48 trains, it amounts to 3.8 billion. Doesn't this, sir, pwede na siyang mapasok into plunder?
As I said, investigations are ongoing right now. I assure you, sir, once there are substantive proofs that can justify a case, then we will do it. But we will, all this hanky-pankies and foolishness, once established, will not go unpunished.
Are you calling, sir, on your predecessor to come out to the open and explain his side?
Am I calling on my predecessor to explain this side? Everyone will be entitled for their day in court. When that moment in time arrives, then so be it. It will be so.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so Ms. Jonah.
Good afternoon, Secretary. I'm Jonah from Asahi Shimbun. Going back to the deal with the Malaysians for the Palawan-Sabah connection, what level is the discussions, and do we have a timeline, or when do we expect to conclude the negotiations?
Good point. This matter was just started in a bilateral talk between the Minister of Transportation of Malaysia and myself when I attended the Langkawi affair in Malaysia some 4 weeks back. Okay? So there was this initial conversation, and we agreed to have our own technical group to study that connection, where will be in Malaysia and where it will be exactly in Palawan. Once we have agreed on the volume of cargo that can move and number of people that can be moved, then we can come into agreement to put that in place, similar to the RORO mechanism that will now be in place between Bitong and Davao this Sunday.
Also, there is a small boat traffic between Tawi-Tawi and Sabah. Are there any plans to improve that line, that area?
Yes, ma'am. Number one, there will be, in fact, some changes already. Number one is to limit the speed. Okay? Merong registration procedures, merong numbering procedures, naka-in place na ho yan. Meron din ho mga istrukturang itatayo doon. Without meaning to preempt our moves, magkakaroon ho ng mga lighthouses dyan at magkakaroon ng mga deployment ng Philippine Coast Guard because there are all the concerns that will have to be addressed will not only be a matter of movement, a matter of economic movement of people, but also security and national security concerns on that particular area. Ma'am,
when will we start building the lighthouses, sir?
Yes, ma'am. Meron ng plano sa Kalayaan Group of Islands. Antayin na lang ho natin yung detalye. In fact, meron din kaming plano sa lighthouses sa Pilipinas na kung saan lahat ng lighthouses sa Pilipinas bubuhayin yun. Kasi madami na hong sirang mga lighthouses, bubuhayin yun. yung mga lugar na kailangan ng lighthouses, kasama na yung area ang sinabi mo at lalagyan ng mga lighthouses. Kasama na ho yung Kalayaan group of islands.
Okay, so another question?
Hi, good afternoon, sirs. I'm JP Soriano from GMA News. May just briefly go back to MRT again, although we appreciate your explanation tungkol sa mga infrastructure projects. Sir, kung sakaling mapatunayan ng certification na hindi nga safe to use yung mga Dalian trains, will you return the train or allow them to just correct the system?
You know, pag hindi safe, hindi ko paanda rin yan. You know, baka bakaling ko yan. But certainly, hindi rin ako magbabayad. Bakit naman ako magbabayad ng below quality standards?
Sir, sa maintenance naman po, do you accept the explanation of Busan na aside from maintenance ay problema din naman daw talaga yung luma na mga bago na 3Ds, which is government responsibility daw?
Siguro tama rin ho sila. Kagaya nga nung sinabi ko, may investigasyon na umuusad ngayon. Sana ho maintindihan nyo na huwag muna ako masyadong magsalita ngayon because there can be repercussions on contractual arrangement and legal pursuits.
Right. Sir, last na lang po. Siyempre, marami pong, alam niyo naman, sir, maraming interested din sa MRT, no? Habang may ASEAN. Ano po yung findings sa aberya sa MRT last Tuesday, April 18, na sinasabing delikado kung may mga pasahero? Is it an issue of maintenance? Ano po yung pananagutan ng Busan maintenance provider dyan, sir? Thank you.
Ito yung sumalya yung rail. Meron ho akong tinitignan angulo dyan. Pag naprueba ho yung angulo na yan, sasabihin ko publicly yan. Basta, bakit nangyayari ito ngayon? Ano? Antayin nyo na lang kung silipin namin at mapatunayan. I will assure you, I will be very open and transparent when the investigation is completed.
Okay, so one last question.
Ayaw ko lang pangunahan. Ano?
Yung pong angle na tinitingnan nyo, Secretary, although sabi nyo i-release nyo kapag when the time is right, pagtapos ng investigation, para lang just to have an idea, yung pong nakikita nyong angle, is that related sa maintenance or paano po ba?
To a lot of things. But one thing is sure, as of this moment, ang sabi nila, safe yung trend.
Okay.
Safe yung trend.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, so last question. So before you throw your question, by the way, there would be a Dropbox link to the presentation a while ago. You could download it, and or we shall be sending you to your email addresses. So don't forget to register your email addresses at the registration outside. So you may now proceed.
Secretary, so the whole point of ASEAN integration is to really help bring in more foreign investment, foreign interest. But we have a question here from our desk regarding the seeming changing of rules within the Philippines. DNR Secretary Gina Lopez just said through a press conference that she wants to ban all open pit mining. She says she wants to do this because she does not know what will happen in her confirmation. So can you discuss how these kinds of announcements impact your drive to attract more investment?
I can understand where you are coming from. But let the issue of mining be addressed by the Secretary Lopez. But let me address insofar as asking investors to come in. Number one, it has been said many times and in very clear and equivocal terms, our President Duterte has said, honor the contract. Okay? Of course, in saying honor the contract as we honor, if along the way you find certain hausyaw or certain things that will have to be rectified, handled, and corrected, and so it shall be. It will be rectified, handled, and corrected. But basically all contracts will be honored. Number two, to encourage investments to come in, we are doing these infrastructures so that the cost of doing business become lower. It becomes lower because there is mobility. It becomes lower because there is connectivity. Number 3, we are reducing processing time, either by merging, mixing functions, or doing technology. The President has been unequivocal in saying, what used to take more than 1 year, do it in 1 month. What used to be done in 2 months, do it in 3 days. Reducing processing time will certainly excite investors to come in. Number 4, the clear mandate of no corruption and full transparency. The President will not tolerate, and his government will not tolerate, corruption in any form, so that the level playing field amongst businessmen and business will have to be established. Number 5, full transparency and accountability. Mr. President Binns mentioned about even the bidding being on a live stream from the time you are doing the opening of the bid up to the time it is awarded. You know, that is unprecedented. We are also inviting certain NGOs, and even some of the media to participate, to witness, not participate, to witness the bidding. This is full transparency. Sabi nga ng Presidente, you businessman come to the Philippines. I make sure I will take care of your investment so that you will go, grow, and glow in our country.
All right, so we are going to grow, glow, and go. Grow, go, and glow. Okay.
Parang build.
Okay. So
Go, grow, and glow.
That's about it. That ends our press briefing for today. Thank you very much, media friends, and to our guest for this afternoon. Have a good day, everyone.
Yes, ma'am.